Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I have for you two fantastic Halloween stacked pumpkin decor pieces. I am digging these two Halloween table decorations so much. Oh my goodness, I enjoyed creating these two pieces. Oh, it was so much fun. The orange stacked pumpkin wood piece is from Hobby Lobby, and the larger stacked pumpkin wood piece that you are looking at currently is from the Dollar Tree. It's actually a door sign, but I had another vision for this piece, which I really loved. I really loved the sign, and I envisioned something completely different for it. And so here you have it. Absolutely love, love. The next one coming up is this stacked wood piece, which is smaller than that one that you're currently looking at. And that one is from Hobby Lobby. So I have two pieces for you today, both of which are very easy to create. And here is the adorable stacked pumpkin piece. It came as a plain wood piece, and I gave the piece three different faces, and I created a platform and some pretty bows and some polka dot pumpkins, and yeah, I am loving this. I hope you are loving these pieces as much as I do. And I hope you feel inspired to get creating. Welcome to all to my channel today. If you're not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one. If you enjoy this tutorial, I hope you will give this video a thumbs up and share my channel with others. I always appreciate that. And as always, leave me your comments and tell me what you think of these Halloween decor pieces. Okay, let's get busy. This is the sign that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Now, I'm not really sure if I paid $1.25 for it or more. I didn't really pay attention. I saw it, and I immediately had a vision for it. So I picked it up, and now I'm going to transform it. Now, I have here I believe that's a 12-inch wood round. So I'm creating a platform for this wood sign, okay, because it's going to be like a stand-up sign. Okay, so I have these little candle cups from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to create feet for my little platform. I also have an assortment of different ribbons that I'm going to use for these decor pieces. And this one is from the Dollar Tree. It has a little bit of a sparkle to it, a little bit of a pattern to it, and I'm going to create a fabulous bow to go on this piece. Now I have here an assortment of ribbons, and I'm just showing you different ones that you could use. I ended up using the ribbons that I had in the assortment that I'm showing you, the ones that had the really nice fabric. And most of those, I believe I had purchased on Amazon, either that or craftcentraldesigns.com. I didn't end up using... in the bow, I didn't end up using any Dollar Tree ribbons, but I did use the ribbons to decorate in between the pumpkins. So I'll be showing you all that as we go along. You're going to need some pipe cleaners, and I'm using black because I like to coordinate my pipe cleaners to my project. You're going to need some black paint. It can be chalk paint, it can be acrylic paint, whatever, just some black paint. Now, these gorgeous picks that I actually have two of them. I only used one. Oh, so beautiful. And it really makes me miss Joann's because that's where they are from. I picked those up after Halloween last season. These are two fabulous picks that are going to go on this piece. And these are from the Dollar Tree. Absolutely love these. So I'm going to be using some picks, and I'm going to be putting a beautiful bow on my piece. I'm also going to use some deco mesh, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and use, I like Gorilla Wood Glue. I'm going to go ahead and use wood glue, and I'm going to place those wood, they're like little candle cups, on around. I'm going to distribute them evenly around the piece, 4 of them, and that's going to serve as the legs for my piece, my little platform where I'm going to mount my sign. Now I have here some Jenga blocks. Now I used 16 of these Jenga blocks. Now these are from the Dollar Tree. So what I'm doing is I'm going to line them up in four Jenga blocks, and I'm going to place 2 rows of Jenga blocks. I'm going to create 2 rows, and then I'm going to place those Jenga blocks on top of one another to create a stacked look so that I can create a kind of a stand. I'm going to sandwich that sign from the Dollar Tree in between these 2 rows of Jenga blocks. Now I'm using Aleene's tacky glue for gluing these together. So right now I'm just concerned about getting those put together. So there are 8 in each row. And I'm putting them one on top of the other to create a height. So again, so I can put my sign in there, and that works really, really well. I wasn't sure at the onset, is this going to work or not? I thought maybe I might have to put something behind the sign, kind of like a stand, like an easel stand. But no, it really turned out so great. Everything about this piece just turned out so great. I am in love with this piece. I just fell in love with the sign. And I don't really say that too much about anything Dollar Tree, but for some reason, this sign just really spoke to me and said, you know what, Dwayne, you need to do something with this. So I'm not sure it actually spoke to me. I'm really just kidding about that. But I really had a great vision about this piece. So I am really going to finish this very, very well, front to back. I am going to be creating this for the Quantum House. And they do some Halloween decorating. Nothing creepy or scary, just cute. So this is going to go very nicely at the Quantum House. Okay, so I painted the sides of the sign, and I did that with a small brush because I didn't want to, take a chance on messing up anything on the front of the sign where the pumpkins are. Now I'm doing the back side, so I want mine completely painted and very finished looking. Now I'm going to do the same thing. My legs are all dry on there now. And I'm going to cover the bottom, all 4 legs, the sides, and the top. I'm using an acrylic black paint. You can, like I said, use anything you like. Chalk paint, acrylic, whatever. It really doesn't matter. All right, now my Jenga blocks are all dry now. So because I'm creating a stand that's going to go on top of that platform, I need those Jenga blocks to be painted black as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and snip off the pieces from this stem. Oh, this Halloween stem is so pretty. It's glittery, and it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. It makes me miss Joanne's. I really miss, because, Joanne's always had unique things that no one else had. And now, we don't have that anymore. Well, we have Hobby Lobby, but I mean, yeah, I just like I like all kinds of things to choose from. So anytime I lose a source, it's sad. Okay, so I am going to begin creating my bow. Now, this bow, I want it to be absolutely fabulous. And I want it to be nice and sturdy with very good quality ribbons. So I am using all of my ribbons that have a very sturdy fabric. Now, because they don't have any labels on the ribbon spool, I'm going to assume I must have at some point in time gotten those probably on Amazon or craftceoutlet.com. Not to say that you can't use a Dollar Tree ribbon. You can. I'm just saying that, I really wanted the top-notch ribbons for this piece. Anything that I donate to the Quantum House, I really like to be, high level. So a high level of quality. Okay, so here we go. Making a beautiful bow. I'm going to fold over my loops, pinch it in the center. I want to say my loops are about 10 inches in length. My tail is about 8 to 9 inches. I'm going to create a bow, 6 loops or 3 loops on each side of my hand. I'm going to take a black pipe cleaner, wrap it around, pull it very tightly, twist, and match up my tails. And that is layer number 1. And this is a very cute ribbon with ghosts. And they're not scary ghosts, they're cute ghosts. So the facility where I'm donating these pieces, it's a temporary housing for families with children who or have a child in the family that has a serious medical condition and being treated for that medical condition at the hospital that's on the same campus. It's like a Ronald McDonald House. So it was important that I keep these 2 Halloween pieces very non-scary. Is that a word? But you get the idea. Nothing creepy or scary, let's put it that way. So I want the piece to be really cute with ribbons that are, just along those lines. All right, I have this ribbon from Michaels. It's a Celebrate ribbon, one of my absolute favorites. I have it in multiple colors in my possession because I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful, sturdy fabric. It's wired. This one's 1.5 inches, which is fine with me. I like mixing up the widths of my ribbons in a bow. All right, now you can see this is a very cute ribbon. This was, oh my goodness, what a sturdy fabric this was. Almost to the point where it was almost difficult making it because it was so stiff. But that's really what you want for a piece for longevity's sake, to last year after year. Most people put their decorations in a hot attic or in a hot garage, so you want the best advantage. So, use a good quality ribbon because the ribbons are affected by the heat. So, look at this pretty bow. And what cute ghosts are on that ribbon. Now, that's different than the other one, but I love that. I'm changing it up, but not changing it up. Kind of. 2 ghost ribbons, but it's so cute. Patterns and patterns and patterns. Different ones. I have stripes. I have a ghost pattern. I have a different ghost pattern. Now I'm adding another pattern or another design. And this one says Happy Halloween, and it has a little bit of color, some orange pumpkins. And I'm going to create another bow. So you can see I'm creating all of my bows exactly the same way. I fold over my loops, pinch it in the center. I hold everything firmly in the center with my thumb and my index finger. When I fold over my loops, I always twist my ribbon so I have the right side of the ribbon facing up for my loops. Now I'm going to create a center loop on this one. So I'm just going to roll that ribbon under and create a very small loop right down the center of the bow. I'm going to cut off my tails. Now all of my tails were like around 8 to 9 inches. And then I just pop that tail that was on the top right through that center loop. And now we have all 4 of our ribbons created into bows that I'm going to stack to create one big, beautiful mixed ribbon bow. Look how lucky I was to get those pumpkins to sit right in the center where my loop is on that bow. Isn't that luck? Okay, now I need a full-size pipe cleaner. Now I'm going to start stacking, and everything that I stack, I need it to be center to center. I'm going to place the tails, one on one side of my hand, one on the other, on my hand and my arm. I open up my bow loops to receive the next bow. Now for my bows in the back, any pipe cleaner tails that are left over from when I created the bow, I'm going to simply snip those off because I want those bows flush upon one another. I'm going to match up my centers, open up my loops to receive the next bow layer. Look how pretty that striped looks on there. Beautiful. Okay, next comes the ghost. Now, for this one, I only did 2 loops on each side. So I really mixed it up. And that's the beauty of these mixed ribbon bows. You could do whatever you want. You can mix the widths of your ribbons. You can create different amount of bow loops per bow. Notice on my 1.5 inch striped, I did 3 loops on each side, 3 loops on the bottom one. But then the next one, that very sturdy ribbon, I only did 2 loops. And for the bow on the top with the orange pumpkins, that was 2 loops on each side with a single loop going right down the middle. Now you probably think, if you've never created a bow like this, like, what in the world did she just do? Yeah, that looks pretty technical. But you know what? It's really not that hard. I'm going to urge you to look on my playlist. I have multiple bow tutorials. I do it very slowly, very methodically. I explain every step. If you would like to learn to make bows like I do, check it out in my playlist. There are multiple ones to choose from, all different kinds. Okay, so now we have the little platform that I created, the circular platform. And I'm going to place my 2 rows of Jenga blocks. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to center this on my platform. And I'm going to center it right in between the legs, which you can't really see there, but you see it a little bit there. But I want to make sure that that's facing the front and the legs are facing the front as well. And I am going to insert my sign into that Jenga blocks little compartment that I made for the sign. I'm going to show you this here in just a second. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm sure I'll be back. So what I'm going to be doing is using Aileen's tacky glue to glue down those 2 rows of Jenga blocks. And I'm going to put my sign in there. And I'm going to sandwich my sign in between those Jenga blocks. Now, I'm really not sure what happened here and why nothing's happening. Okay, sorry. Wow, I just don't know what happened there. Anyway, I'm back. Okay, so I put my sign down in between those two rows of Jenga blocks. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? Plenty of glue. I put glue on the bottom of my sign. I put glue on the inside of each of the Jenga blocks rows. I'm giving it every opportunity to set up and be strong holder, if you will, for my sign. Now, as it's drying, I'm going to keep checking in and making sure that it's straight. I even have a little level that I was putting up next to my sign to make sure that I had it nice and straight. I was eyeballing it, of course, as well. Now, I held it there for a little while until it started to set. But you'd be surprised how beautifully this worked. Now, I had a plan B if I needed to, but I didn't need to. So I just kept checking in to make sure it was still standing up perfectly straight. And I made sure everything was, setting up well. Now, what am I doing here? I am going to create 2 bows to go in between my pumpkins. Now, I love this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's very sheer and it's really pretty. It has a lot of shimmer to it. And I wanted something really light and lightweight and shimmery and pretty to put in between my pumpkins. So I'm just creating a 2-loop bow here. I want to say my loops are only about 4 to 5 inches, and I'm going to create a center loop. Now you can make your bows however you like to make bows. But what I want here is just a nice 2-loop bow with a single loop going right down the center. I want a little bit of tails on there around 4 inches. Now I'm going to create 2 of these bows. I'm going to use a black pipe cleaner because I certainly don't want any other color pipe cleaner to be seen through that sheer ribbon. Very important to match your pipe cleaners to your project. All right, I have 2 of them now. Now I'm going to make my tails pretty short and I'm going to angle them. Now I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to create 2 pieces to go around, or more so in front, on the front side of the pumpkin, and I'm just going to wrap them a little bit. See how I keep checking in with my pumpkins? Make sure that sign is standing up straight. Okay, now I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon a little bit wider than the width of the area where the pumpkins are stacked. Now, one of the pieces is going to be a little bit bigger than the other. You'll note that that top pumpkin has a little bit of a less area to cover than between the polka dot pumpkins and the striped one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of that piece of ribbon, and I'm going to scrunch it up. I want my ribbon cinched or gathered right there in the center. That's where I'm going to place my sheer ribbon small bow. I'm going to wrap a pipe cleaner around there to keep that just the way I want it. And I'm going to place this piece of ribbon in between the pumpkins. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Wrap a pipe cleaner around there. Pull it really tight so it gathers up. Cut off the excess. And then I'm just going to be gluing this right to the sign, the pumpkins. Now this looks so pretty. You'll see when we go to put it together. Now you could see that, you could see the white glue there that's still setting, but I really glued that up. I wanted to make sure that held. Now, I love Elaine's Tacky Glue. I think it's amazing, so I had a good feeling about this plan that I came up with to get that sign to stand up on that wood round. And it worked like a charm. Okay, now I'm going to put a little small bow at the top of my top pumpkin. Now I'm going to use this narrow ribbon. This is a Dollar Tree ribbon. I'm just going to make a little stacked bow. Now I did 3 loops on each side, or 6 loops altogether. I'm going to take a little piece of wire. This is a 26 gauge wire. I like to use very fine wire when I put my little narrow ribbon bows together. Now I'm going to use a black satin ribbon. It's very narrow, but that's okay. I like the look of that. I love mixing it up. If there's one thing that I hope you learned from me and take away from each project, is mix your patterns and your textures. Don't be afraid to change it up, to mix it up. Don't be afraid to do the unexpected. That's what I do. I love it. Okay, so I created this little loopy bow just in a figure 8. Now that's what I'm doing here, little figure 8 bows. I actually have a bow tutorial where I show how I do figure 8 bows. It's really super simple. I just fold it under, fold it over, fold it under, fold it over, and I create bows that look like a figure 8. Super easy. Okay, now I have this orange ribbon with white polka dots. Yeah, that looks really pretty on this piece to bring out the oranges on this this sign. So I'm going to create another 3-loop bow. You can see here what I'm doing. I fold it under, I fold it over, I fold it under and over. And I'm just creating figure 8s. This one has 3 figure 8s. I'm going to wrap my wire around really, really tight. I pull it super tight so it cinches that ribbon, that bow in the middle, and gathers it up, and it makes it a much prettier looking bow. Now that's going to be beautiful, all combined with the other ribbons. So far, we have the Halloween ribbon, we have that very narrow black satin, and we have the orange ribbon with the polka dots. Now, I guess I'm going to go, that's all I put in that bow. I'm going to go ahead and go stack that up. So I snip off my excess wires on the back of those bows, match up the centers, and stack them all together. Now, you can put anything you like in the center of the bow, but I always put something in the center. And what I ended up doing on this one, I believe I just wrapped a piece of ribbon around the center. I do not want my wires showing. Yeah, that's just not going to be happening on my bows. So at this point, you could just take a piece of ribbon, whichever one you like, and just place a little dab of glue on the back of the bow and anchor your little piece of ribbon down, wrap it around the front, and then glue it on the back, just like you see me doing here. I wrapped it around. I decided to use that orange with the white polka dots to finish off the center of my bow. Put a little dab of glue on the back, pull it tightly, wrap it all the way around, and secure that with a dab of hot glue. Look at that pretty little bow. Now I do wait to trim up the tails, which I do angle, and that I will trim up later once I get it on the piece. There's my little level. I told you I was using it. I actually put it up against my sign so I could make sure that I really had it straight. That was very important to me. And like I said, I kept going back and checking on it and checking on it and checking on it to be sure that it didn't shift or move, when I was not looking. Okay, we are going to put some deco mesh bundles on here. Now, I didn't mention this in the beginning for the materials. I'm not sure why I didn't, but oh, that looks so nice. Look how that sign is sitting on there. So pretty. Looks like it's all dry now. Sorry about that little lull where absolutely nothing was happening before. I was thinking, oh no, what happened? But thank goodness I finally came back. Yeah, those things happen sometimes. Probably I was looking for something. Yeah. Okay, so I cut a bunch of pipe cleaners in half. Now, I ended up using a full roll of orange. This is Dollar Tree Deco Mesh, by the way. I'm going to cut it in 16-inch lengths. Now, I believe I used 10 bundles. I used a full roll of the orange and a full roll of the black. This is 6-inch wide deco mesh, and I'm simply going to scrunch these pieces right down the center. I'm going to take my Dollar Tree clip it on there. Yes, this deco mesh will fray, but I really don't mind that for a Halloween piece. So no worries about that. Just pick up your deco mesh at the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to take an orange piece. So I'm going to be combining in my bundles an orange piece and a black piece. I'm going to crisscross it, take a half a pipe cleaner, wrap it around, and twist it. Now I was able to get to use an entire roll of that orange and black. And then I believe I needed like one more bundle. So hopefully you might have a little bit of leftover black and orange so that you don't have to buy 2 rolls. But no big deal. I mean, you're always going to use it eventually. So, I mean, it's very inexpensive. It's from the Dollar Tree. So in actuality, I used a full roll of each color, plus a little bit of another roll of orange and another roll of black. So I wanted 10 bundles. At 16 inches in length, I wanted 10 bundles going around my piece. Okay, now I laid my sign down and my platform, which you can't see there, but it's actually hanging off the end of the table so that I could lay this flat so that I could do this little decoration that I'm doing here. All right, so I put that little gathered area that we created with the pipe cleaner, put it right in the middle of the pumpkin, right between the 2 pumpkins. Now I'm going to glue my bow down right in that exact spot. So now I have those ribbon tails, if you will, pointing out to each side. And I'm going to, eventually, you're going to see me do here, I'm going to wrap them just a little bit around the side and attach them or tack them down with hot glue to the back. Now watch what I do here. I glue it down in the center. Snip off the excess pipe cleaners on my bow. Put a dab of glue there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a nice touch on this piece. Do you agree? Okay, now I'm going to show you what I do with those ribbons that are poking off to each side there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up, I guess I'm not doing it yet. I guess I decided to put my bow on. So I put it right up at the top. I kind of nestled it into that little nook between the top of the pumpkin and the peduncle. I just painted that black. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, but I did fill that hole in the top of that sign with spackle. I don't think I mentioned that, but I did do that. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I do with those pieces. Okay, I'm just going to gather them up, and I'm going to wrap it around the back. And it's not going to go all the way around the back, just about a 1/2 inch. On the back side, I take some hot glue. I'm going to show you here. And I just glue that and secure it to the back. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and also for the other ribbon on the other pumpkin above. So tack that down with glue. Watch your fingers. Snip off any excess there. Now the back side is just going to be black, but I just didn't want it the wood. I thought, if I just painted it black, it would look a little more finished and cohesive. Oh boy, do I love that. Now I'm going to finish off those ribbons on each side on that pumpkin, that striped pumpkin at the top. All right, so now we are going to decorate the platform. Now I have this big, fabulous bow. But what I'm going to do is just place it there and try and get just gauge how much deco mesh I'm going to need and where I'm going to place it. There's no need to put deco mesh under that huge bow. So really what I'm doing here is just working my deco mesh around that bow. So I wanted to see what it would look like sitting there. Now I'm going to be placing that bow on the left side, and it's going to be tucked right up against that bottom pumpkin with the polka dots. Now I take my deco mesh bundles and I want to spread them around that platform. Now I'm keeping in mind here that I'm going to be adding those striped pumpkins. So I'm also going to be adding some of those beautiful black stems with the leaves there. I didn't end up using those black velvet pumpkins, but they are so pretty. They also came off of that stem. I'm going to find the perfect project for those. I've started to use them a couple times and never ended up doing it. But okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking my deco mesh and I'm pushing it right up against my little Jenga block piece that I created to hold my sign. So I'm kind of concealing that Jenga block piece with my deco mesh. Now I'm just going to kind of place my deco mesh to cover the platform as much as possible. Doesn't have to be solid, but I'm going to, for the most part, I'm going to cover all of that area other than where that big bow is going to be sitting. And I found that 10 bundles did the trick. Look how pretty that looks. Yeah, I don't think I have ever seen anything really quite like this piece. Tell me if you have. It just seemed to evolve in my head, and I could not wait to make it. I just thought, this is going to be fabulous, and I was not disappointed. So I'm continuing on here, bringing my deco mesh bundles around the side, tucking it in right on the side of that pumpkin. Oh boy, this is really coming together beautifully. I am going to decorate the back side as well. Even though my pumpkins do not have any design on the back, I am still going to bring my deco mesh around the back. And I think I even put a couple of pumpkins back there. Okay, so I'm going to take that fantastic bow and I'm going to put a lot of hot glue on the back of that. Now I am going to not sit it flat on that platform. I'm going to place it up against the Jenga blocks and the pumpkin itself. And I'm going to see how I have it facing forward. It's off to the side, but a little bit forward as well. Now, after I get that to adhere, and I'm holding and holding right there, I can go around later and secure any of the bow loops, which actually it looks like I'm doing it now. But just to make sure that that bow doesn't really go anywhere, I can go around the back, secure the bow loops. Even in a couple of places, I secured one of the bow loops like to my actual pumpkin itself. So yeah, I don't want that to go anywhere. Now you could see that that bow kind of covers a little bit of the back as well. It's a nice big bow, so it really takes up quite a lot of room. And now I'm trimming up my tails, and I always say that the best way to do this is to start with the bottom bow that you created in your stack. Start with that one, and that's the longest tail. And then from there, with each bow layer, you're going to cut in an angle your tails. And each one gets a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter. And what this does is it creates a layering so that you can see all of those pretty bows that are all those pretty tails that belong to the bow. And that just is such a beautiful look. Now I can see there, just by the way that bow's wobbling around, see, I need more glue. So I really glued that down. I love Gorilla Glue. That's my favorite. I think it does the job beautifully. Okay, now I'm going to come around the back here, do the same thing. I like to manipulate my deco mesh bundles, as you can see right there. I kind of give them, fold them in half, give them a little squash. Now, notice how I push my deco mesh up against the pumpkin. I don't want it just lying flat on that platform. I want it to frame that pumpkin, if you will. Complement that pumpkin, if you will. All those pretty colors. And this is just such a beautiful, beautiful touch on this platform. Framing this pumpkin like this brings out all of those pretty orange polka dots on that pumpkin. I'm just going to continue on gluing all of my pieces down. Again, I used 10 bundles. Now you can use whatever you like on your piece. If you want to use some tulle, if you want to insert some mesh tubing, whatever you like. This is what I chose to do for mine. I have all of my deco mesh on and my bow, and I am starting to get very happy with this piece. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start inserting some of these picks. Now, these, it's hard to describe these and what they're made of, really. But I did have to cut them down just a little bit. But they're very shimmery and glittery. And they're very stiff leaves and very pretty leaves, as you can see. Now, what could you use instead? Because obviously Joann Fabrics is no longer. You could pick any type of black Halloween floral and make it work. Maybe you could find another leaf. I know that they have black roses, but try and find something that looks like leaves. That would be really great. So I'm popping mine in. here and there and attaching it right to the deco mesh. And this is when I got really happy because, oh my goodness, look how pretty that is. So I went around my piece and I didn't even use a full stem of these. So I didn't put a lot, but you didn't need a lot. The impact of those poking up out of that deco mesh, oh my goodness, yeah, beautiful. Now later on, you're going to see that I have some little pieces. Obviously, I had to snip them off. They were too long. I couldn't use them that long. So some of those stems had little smaller leaves. And then I also had the regular size leaves. And I decided to put them, there we go, at the top of my pumpkin for pumpkin leaves coming out from the stem or the peduncle. That was a nice touch. See that poking up there? Oh, yeah, that's pretty. So, yeah, just try Michael's. You know Hobby Lobby doesn't have any Halloween materials, so forget that. So, I can only imagine what awesome things they would have if they did. But, yeah, you can't get anything Halloween there. So, try Dollar Tree. Although I don't really care for their florals, they're very flimsy. I would suggest trying Michael's. They have very nice florals. Okay, so, oh boy, yeah, that piece makes me happy. I know I said that, but yeah, it does. Okay, so now I'm going to use a stem of these orange striped pumpkins and a stem of the white and black. Now, are these not perfect for this piece or what? Look at the stripes on there. Also, those pumpkins bring out the oranges. So I'm just going to cut them off from the stem, put a little dab of hot glue, and I'm going to poke them right down into my deco mesh. I did put a bit of glue on the underside of the pumpkin as well, just so we can latch on to that deco mesh. And I just balance those out, place them here and there. And I was extremely happy with the way those looked on this piece. Now you could use whatever pumpkins that you like. Now I believe I got those striped pumpkins last year, but I'm going to assume that most of the time they come out with a lot of the same materials year after year after year. So give it a try, see if you can find them if you really like those. If not, I'm sure you'll find something else to suffice. Now these are small pumpkins, but they're fabric, and I would look for something like that. So now I'm just going to put them here and there around and in that deco mesh. I was going to use that black velvet one. I said, no, I'm going to use the striped ones only. I'm going to go around on the back, and I believe, yes, I think I put a couple of pumpkins in the back, and also some of those glittery leaf stems. Now notice I don't have any purple on this Halloween decor piece. Reason being, there's no purple on the sign. So usually I put purple with Halloween, but this time I didn't. And I'm just absolutely loving it. Now, what would you do with this piece? I think this would be utterly fabulous on a buffet table if you have a Halloween party. I think it would be beautiful by a fireplace. I think it would be phenomenal on a foyer table. I think it would be great on a covered porch. Yeah, I just think this piece would be fabulous anywhere It would just scream Halloween. Yes, look how beautiful that is. Now, that piece would obviously need careful storage. So if you create this piece, keep that in mind. Pack it well. I would wrap something around that pumpkin and put it in a box all by itself. All right, now I'm trying to give you a full view of it done. Now you can see the feet on the platform. I love that it's raised and not just sitting flat on a table. All the beautiful deco mesh and pumpkins. And as we go up, look at those beautiful bows separating those pumpkins. And then we have that little pretty bow at the top with those black leaves. Love, love. Tell me what you think of this one. All right. Okay, now here's the story with this one, okay? I did this last year. This is a Hobby Lobby piece. It comes in as a plain wood piece. Now, I painted it last year, and I loaded my brush up and I blended my colors, just like I showed you how to do in the video where I created the double pumpkins with the scarecrow head. If you want to learn how to blend a pumpkin paint colors, look at that video. Now, I painted 3 different faces. Do you love this or no? Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Well, I had this in my storage, and I realized that I had it and I wanted to do something with it. Now, obviously, I'm not doing this over and I'm not going to be showing you how I painted it, but I am going to show you how I did the faces. But what I am going to do is show you how to turn this into a substantial table decor piece. Again, beautiful for a buffet table, or to place on a foyer table, or on a fireplace mantle, or just anywhere where you want that Halloween decor. Now, I have this, I think it was a sign wood piece. I believe it's from Hobby Lobby, but you can usually pick up something like that at Dollar Tree. I have some of those little wood cubes. Those are from the Dollar Tree. Those are going to be feet. I'm going to turn this into a platform just like I did the other one. So this sign is going to become kind of like a tray, and I'm going to put feet on the bottom. I used this ribbon. This was from the Dollar Tree. Nice orange, yeah. And I'm using that striped ribbon again. I also have another black ribbon with kind of a checkerboard pattern. Nice fabric, beautiful. That looks like it probably came from Amazon. But, you choose the ribbons that you like, but mix it up. Make sure you have a lot of visual interest in different patterns and colors. I'm also going to put a little bow at the top. So I have that little narrow ribbon again that I used before. I have a gingham check in orange and white, and I have my orange ribbon with the polka dots, and I'm going to use that again. I'm also going to use a little piece of that orange twine and a little piece of very narrow black satin ribbon, and I'll tell you what I do with that later. First, I'm going to prepare my platform. Now, I turned this over. It depends on which side is, I can't speak. Oh my God. Which side you think is the front. That's what I wanted to say. But to me, this is the front of the sign, I'm thinking. I cut off that burlap or that jute twine hanger. Now I'm going to take these wood cubes that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put them on each corner with Gorilla Wood glue. And that's going to be the feet for my little platform or my little tray that's going to be holding my stacked pumpkins. Now, I'm sorry that you're not going to see me painting those. Like I said, if you want to learn how to blend your colors, just refer to my double pumpkin video with the scarecrow head for the top pumpkin. I did that maybe about 3 weeks ago. But you could just paint them orange. You don't have to blend your colors. And you could create your own faces. You don't have to create them like mine. But I am going to go over the faces here in just a moment. So, like I said, half of the piece is done. But I really wanted to show you how cute this piece could be. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bow. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to make a bow, and I'm going to make that my base layer of my bow. I love this black ribbon. It's a nice cloth fabric. I believe I probably came in like a multi-pack of ribbons on Amazon. And by the way, always check out Amazon if you're looking for something in particular, because sometimes you can find something on there, a ribbon type or type of deco mesh or something that you can't even find anywhere else. I am a big Amazon shopper, and never mind the convenience of it. Oh my goodness, just to have it dropped at your door. Okay, so I am going to use this pretty orange Halloween ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I want to say my bow loops on the black base bow were just around 10 inches. Now I'm going to make these loops a little bit smaller. Again, refer to some of my bow tutorials. I have multiple ones, but you could as well use a bow dabra. You could as well use an easy bow maker. I can create the same bow on either one of those, the Easy Bow Maker or the Bow Dabra. It just helps you by holding your loops for you. But essentially, it's the same. You can make the same bow that I make with the either one of those. So, I mean, it's up to you. Or you can learn to make it in your hand like I do. So now I'm going to make my bow loops a little bit smaller because I want to kind of have a layered effect on this bow. And I have my favorite ribbon. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my favorite ribbon of all time, Celebrate ribbon. Beautiful, beautiful quality. So I'm going to create a 2-loop bow, wrap a half a pipe cleaner around that. I want to leave about 6-inch tails. I don't need too long of tails on this. And I guess this is going to be my top bow. So I created a single loop going right down the center. I do show you how to do this on my bow tutorials. People ask me all the time, how did I learn to make bows? Well, it was so long ago. But I do remember it so well. I don't know if you all remember when the rag shop was a craft store. It was like all over the country, and they went out of business. But anyway, when they were in business, there was a lady making a bow at the floral counter. And I said, could you show me how to do that? And she showed me, and this was the method she did. I watched it very intently. I went home. I practiced, and here I am today. Oh my goodness, 30 years later, maybe? And I'm making these beautiful bows, and I am so appreciative for that bow tutorial. Okay, so look at this pretty bow. It's really, really, really pretty. I have 3 different ribbons on there, obviously. Now you can see why I create my loops a little bit smaller as I go up the bow, because now you can really see all of those ribbons in that bow. This is going to be a very pretty bow that's going to sit on that tray. I think this one's more like a tray than a platform. So I'm going to use some black floral wire for this little narrow bow that I'm going to create for the very top pumpkin. I'm just going to create some figure 8 little bows, and I'm going to stack them together, and this is going to look really pretty right at the top of my pumpkin. Now that peduncle on the top of that pumpkin, I had previously wrapped that with a jute twine. You could paint it, you could wrap it, you could do whatever you want with it. The color paint that I used on that was pumpkin color, obviously. I believe at the time it may have been Waverly pumpkin. I'm not absolutely certain. But I can tell you the Crafters Collection brand at Hobby Lobby has a really pretty Halloween orange, and it's called pumpkin, but it's super pretty, and it goes very, very, very nicely for anything Halloween as well as autumn. So I'm proceeding on here. I made my little polka dot bow. Now these are small bows because that top pumpkin is smaller than the top pumpkin of that first piece that we saw. So I'm making my bows a little smaller with less loops. Now I have a little orange and white gingham check that I obviously picked that up at the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to wrap my floral wire around the center just like I always do, pull it super tight to gather that up. And I really liked this gingham check on this piece. Mix up your patterns. My goodness, look at what you're looking at right there. You have the Halloween print, you have a polka dot, and now I'm putting a gingham check. And it looks awesome. Now for the center of that bow, I wrapped it. I think I took a piece of very narrow black satin ribbon and I just wrapped the center. But you could do whatever you want here. You could use any of those ribbons to wrap the center and just do it like you saw that we did it before. A dab of glue on the back, anchor down your ribbon, wrap it around, and then a dab of glue on the back to secure that. Now I'm just going to be hot gluing this little bow right up again, right by the peduncle, right in that little nook at the top of the pumpkin and the stem or the peduncle. I'm going to be angling my tails, but I'm going to trim them up accordingly once I get this little bow on the top. And that's going to really add some visual interest and some color to the top of that pumpkin stack. Okay, moving on here. I'm going to use Waverly antiquing wax on this. My feet are all dry, and it's time to start putting some antiquing wax on this. Now, I just use a sponge applicator, and I do have a rag nearby because I do wipe off the excess. I like it a little bit of a lighter color, so I definitely like to wipe that after I apply the coat. Now, why didn't I paint it black? Well, because I'm going to be using Excelsior on this piece. And I kind of wanted to appeal to people who like a little bit more of the rustic look. So I decided to do this with the antiquing wax and to use the Excelsior, but still bring in the blacks and the oranges. Okay, so I have these little pumpkins that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. They have a little hole at the top, so I have to use some spackle and fill that hole. Now, what am I going to do with these pumpkins? Well, yeah, I wanted to make a couple of polka dot pumpkins because, why not, right? So I painted one of my pumpkins orange and I painted one of them black. My orange pumpkin is going to get black polka dots and my black pumpkin is going to get orange polka dots. I did paint the stem or the peduncle, just a kind of a brown color, It's so small and really not too much to worry about when it comes to that. But I go ahead and I paint the sides and the top or the front. You don't have to paint the back because it's really not going to show. You know what? I just remembered that I did go and paint the back, and because I remembered that and the placement where I put those pumpkins, if you went around the back side of that arrangement, you would be able to see those wood pumpkins. So I just remembered that I did do that. So yeah, I did. Okay, so paint both sides. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. All right, now I took the smallest little paint dabber, whatever you want to call it. And I'm using the end of that, but not the sponge. See how I'm making polka dots? You could use a wood dowel, a small wood dowel as well. So I put polka dots all over. I made sure that I also made them look like they were, coming off the side of the pumpkin, and just really covering that pumpkin with polka dots. Yeah, I thought this was cute. So later on, after I place my pumpkins on my piece, I'm going to take a little piece of orange twine, and I'm going to wrap it around the peduncle and put a little tiny bow, just by tying it in a shoestring bow. Then I'm going to take a little very narrow piece of ribbon in black and tie it around the orange one with the polka dots. All right, so you can see that I still have that Excelsior on there. I put that on there when I created this piece last year, but I never created a platform for it. So I had such a good idea in doing that for the other piece. I thought I would do that for this one too. I think it creates a really nice finished look. And this one as well is going to the Quantum House. So now I'm going to put a nice coat of Aleene's tacky glue all over the bottom. Now that wood piece, that's the way that stacked pumpkin piece comes from Hobby Lobby. It's plain wood, okay, but it does have that piece of wood on the bottom so you can stand it up. So last year I just put that Excelsior on there and I left it on there. Okay, so I put that right in the center, and I made sure that I centered it from side to side, not only front to back, but side to side. All right, I have my little pad of eyes. These are the eyes that I very often do on my pieces, and this is exactly the way I did them on my pumpkins. My first one, I created 2 ovals. I placed the ovals at a little bit of an angle, so at the top of the eye, they're kind of angled toward the middle. See that? Then, after I create my little ovals, this is so easy, you guys. I just filled in an eyeball. It takes about half of that oval and fill in the eyeball. Later on, after I paint the black eyeball, I'll put a little white light in the eye. I'll add some eyelashes. I could put them on the bottom too. And it's that easy. Now my eyes are pretty close together. There's a little bit of space between them. But that's what I did on the first pumpkin. Now you probably recognize these eyes if you follow my channel. I create 2 parallel lines going right down the center. Then I'm going to attach a teardrop to each parallel line just like that. On the other side, the same thing. Attach my teardrop right to that parallel line. Then I'm going to take my pencil, and I draw everything in first, by the way. Don't start painting until you have everything drawn in, because then you can at least correct your mistakes. Then I'm going to draw in my eyeballs, add some eyelashes. Now the one on the bottom, I did that one too. That's exactly the same as the second one. The only difference is I drew an eyelid. Do you see the difference there? It's exactly the same as the one above, but I closed the eyelid over the eye by just simply doing kind of like a swoosh or a little curve right there, just like that. And that's how I do eyes, and it's so super simple. Now for the rest of the face, very easy. I just put a triangular nose, and then I did 3 different mouths. I did one that was a little bit curly, I had one that was a little bit goofy, and then one that was just a regular smiling mouth. All right, so my little polka dot pumpkins are ready to go. I did paint those, by the way, as an afterthought. Once I realized, yeah, I needed to paint them. But right here, I still hadn't done it yet, but I would recommend doing that. So I'm just going to wrap that twine around the stem and just do a little shoestring bow. Little loops will do just fine. Cut off the tails. I'm just going to place those right next to my stacked pumpkins. And I think they're just super cute, and they create a little bit of visual interest, and I really like them. Now I'm going to take a little bit of very narrow satin ribbon. Again, I'm going to finish that pumpkin in the back. I don't think that I put polka dots on. No, I didn't. I didn't put polka dots on the back. I just colored them orange and black. That was sufficient. Better than the wood. So, and then do the same thing. Little shoestring bow, little tiny loops. I keep pulling the tails until I get that little small loop bow that I'm looking for. Trimmed off the tails, and there you have it. Now I'm going to just be popping those into the Excelsior right onto that tray. Now, I am going to be placing more Excelsior. So you will need, if you're going to make this piece, you're going to need a bag of Excelsior. You could find that in the floral department. It looks just like that. And I like the natural color. And I'm just going to pull out some of that. It's very messy, but it really has a great look. It kind of adds a little bit to that kind of rustic feel. And it looks really pretty on that tray that's painted with that antiquing wax. So I put a little bit of hot glue down to hold that Excelsior down. Now I'm going to wrap the center of this bow. That's what I'm doing there. So remember I said just anchor it on the back, your little piece of end of your ribbon, wrap it. I wrapped mine around a couple times because that ribbon is super, super thin, or narrow, I should say. And I like the way that turned out. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. But as far as my Excelsior, I just laid it all around, and then I just lifted it up a little bit, shot some hot glue in there, pressed it down, and there you go. Now, I'm not doing anything with the pumpkins in between the pumpkins like I did the other piece. I'm fine and happy with just the way it turned out as is. So I'm going to take that pretty little bow. Again, I'm going to pop it into that little nook right next to the peduncle. See how it's not in the front, but kind of like just tucked into that little area. Okay, snip off my pipe cleaners on the back. Now this bow is really going to make this piece fabulous. I'm going to put a nice blob of hot glue, and I'm going to tuck it right underneath, right at the bottom of the pumpkin. Notice how I don't put it flat in the tray. I push it up against the pumpkin. Now I'm going to secure those loops of my bow, and then of course I need to trim up my tails. Now, the only thing I'm going to put in the Excelsior is I'm going to put those 2 pumpkins. I'm going to put them kind of like side by side. Now, you could do whatever you want with these, or if you don't want to do them at all, the piece would still be great. But I'm just going to kind of sit mine next to my pumpkin. And I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of the pumpkin, and I'm going to make a little area down into that Excelsior and let that stick right to the wood. I think I did put a little dab of glue so it would also stand up against the edge of that big pumpkin there. And then I'm going to take the other one and just place it right next to the black one. And because it was so close to the edge of the tray, I was able to take a dab of glue, place it right on the side of that pumpkin, and that helped to balance out that pumpkin and have it stand up straight. I love this piece. I just love it. Tell me what you think of this one. I didn't know I was going to get so excited about Halloween decor. I wasn't even planning on doing anything, but I don't know. All of a sudden I got into the mood. And by the way, oh my goodness, do I have something coming up? If you love a really awesome Halloween wreath for your door, I am going to do something so cute and so beautiful and so unique. It's going to be my next video. I hope you will tune in for that. Okay, now, I'm going to just do a little gluing to make sure my loops are secure. And I do let my piece help me with that. I put a little bit of glue underneath the loops and let it just attach to that sides of that tray. Now it's time to trim up those tails, my striped being the shortest, and my checkered black being the longest tail. So now do you see what I mean about that, cutting them in a graduated length, and how you can see the tails just layering one upon the other, and it really shows off those ribbons that you used in your bow. Okay, I'm showing it to you full length here. Okay, so yeah, tell me what you think of this piece. I am loving it. I think they're going to love this at the Quantum House. And there's all those cute faces with a little bow on the top. And that is it for piece number 2. Another long video, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did creating it. Yep, there we go. One last look. Remember, if you are not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one. I have so many great projects upcoming for the Christmas season. And of course, I have that beautiful, very cute and unique Halloween wreath coming up next week. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the tutorial. Share this channel with your friends. And of course, I love receiving your comments. Let me know what you think. This one, if I had to pick a favorite, I don't know. I love them both, but I might have to go with this one. There is just something about it. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, run to Hobby Lobby. Well, you can run to Hobby Lobby too and get the other one. But yeah, I think you should run to Dollar Tree and pick up this sign and have fun, just like I did creating it. Okay, until next time, you all take care.